G'day everybody, thanks for watching my first video. I'm going to do another video now. I had a few comments asking for some instruction on sheet metal, and this is a sheet metal box that I've made up here, an under tray toolbox. And I really want to be able to do this in Onshape. Onshape's got some fantastic sheet metal tools to be able to do something like this box. This is a toolbox that is a few years old now, but it was something I designed up in CAD. Probably about 8 years ago, but I'm thinking I really want to do it again, and this time it's going to be in Onshape, and it's going to be it's going to be a public document that's to share, and it's also going to be, I'm going to do it as a configurable doc as well, so we can actually change it for different trays. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, so I'm just using a demo account for this project today. This is just a demo account, it's on the free, so we see here we're just on the free subscription. So when I go ahead and create my document, I'm going to go straight into create a public document. So we'll create this document. This is going to be our underbody toolbox document. So we'll start off by doing a sketch on the front face. So I normally use a lot of quick keys. So first of all, I'm just going to press N now to push that normal to that face, and then I'm going to press S, which opens up my little toolbar, and into the sketch. I'm already selected on that front plane. So now we've got a sketch, and then I'm going to press L for line, which is this one here, or I'll just press L down here, and then I'm going to come across here, and I'm going to just roughly sketch out my shape of my toolbox. So I've roughly got my shape. You can actually hover here, so I could actually hover there and set a distance on that. So let's say 400 on that one. It'll actually drop the dimension in, so that is quite handy. Or I get to this point, I just press D, and it will bring up the dimension tools. And if you want to know quick keys, you can always just hover. You see there, if you hover, it comes up on the end of the description. D, put a dimension on the top. Dimension on the back. D also does angles as well, so select those two, we'll put that angle there, and I think that should be just about it. Now you'll see the sketch is still blue. We want that sketch to turn black. Now the way we get that to turn black is by locking it in with dimensions and actually to the origin. So I'm thinking I want the 0 point of the toolbox to be actually on the top face, so what I'll do is I'll lock this sketch in here to the midpoint, and you can see there's a midpoint up there. There's no quick key for midpoint. I can press the S key, and I do get a little toolbar with all the sketch tools on it, and I've got a midpoint there, so I'll grab that one. And you can see instantly that has come up as black. If I'll change this dimension here, we'll change that to make that 160, and we'll make this one just to round out the dimensions, so 700. Yeah, that one's about 200. And this one here, I think I want a vertical dimension rather than down that line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that one to select from the top face to this vertex here. And we'll make that 350. And this one here, maybe actually we want this 200 to be not vertical. So there could be an option. We can make this an option to actually be a tapered back as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a dimension on there, an angle dimension. We'll make that 90. But it gives us the option to be able to change that to a different angle if we wanted to have like a tapered back on our toolbox. So that's our initial layout sketch. Straight from here, we'll go into an extrude. Now I actually have on my S key, I actually have extrude and revolve on there. A lot of the time when you're coming over sketch, you want to go straight into an extrude. Or you can press Shift and E, which gives you extrude as well. So we go straight into the extrude from the sketch. We want to do a symmetrical extrude, so I'll just select symmetric, and we can grab that there and drag it out and see how it looks. We want that to be about 300. Let's say 280. Okay, so that's given us our layout of our box. I'll press P. P hides planes. I don't want to see those planes there. And I don't really want to see the origin either. Turn the origin off. Okay, so there's our box. We want to put a door in this front face. So I'm going to put another sketch on here to just lay out my opening for the door. S for to bring out the toolbar, and we go straight into the sketch. N for normal. We've got the wrong sketch plane. Actually, no, we don't have a sketch plane, so we select that face there. Now press N for normal. So we've got that. What I could have done there is I could have pre-selected my front face. I thought I'd actually pre-selected, but I hadn't. So normally I would pre-select, press S, and then select the sketch tool. First of all, we want to actually just do an offset. So let's just select these faces or these edges here. Do an offset. We can drag that in. We want it to be about 40 mil. We press enter to close that off. This top one, quite often with these toolboxes, you'll have a rope rail. So I want that rope rail to be a little bit different to 40. So what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll delete that offset constraint off that top line. The opening is always going to be parallel to the top face, so I'll use parallel, which is B, which is probably a bit of a funny one if you can remember B for parallel. Or you can just go use the S key and pick up your parallel there. So now we've got a parallel constraint. We'll put that one on there. We'll make that 80. And then, so these seams, so there's going to be a seam that comes from that corner there to there. We probably want to have a seam that comes on about a 45-degree angle and then comes down. And so there'll be like there'll be flush welds across that face. And this one here will come across. And actually we won't make that a 45, we'll make that a symmetric constraint. Now let's see if this symmetric constraint, which is this one out here. So it's actually symmetric. It's really nice how Onshape works with this symmetric constraint. So I can just select those 3 lines and it will automatically just pick up the symmetric from there. You don't have to do any kind of switching of lines around to construction or anything. It just works, so which is great. So here's another point that I want to make too. You might be used to a collinear constraint. There's no collinear constraint in Onshape, so that's a collinear, meaning I want that line and that line to be parallel or directly straight to each other. All you have to do for that is just press coincidence, and it locks them straight. So that one there. Wait a minute. That one, and coincidence locks it straight. So now our sketch is black. And what I want to do now is I just want to split this face up. I can't go straight into my split command from here, so I'll close that sketch off. I'll pre-select that sketch and then I will go split. So I want to split that face up. Actually, they're pre-selected, didn't do anything there. I'm not splitting the part, I'm splitting the face. So I select face, and then I want to select this face, and then I will select the sketch. That will actually hide the sketch, and you can see now I've got this made up of surfaces. Now quite often what happens with these openings, there's 2 ways you can do them with the doors. Extrude out, and you can do tabs that come out and the door goes over the top of that, or you can do a recess back in, and that didn't work because we're trying to add, we want to remove, or you can do a recess back in and you can place the door in that recess. I think what I'm going to do today, and what I normally do with these boxes when I've done them in the past, I do the tab, so we'll change that, see it's gone red, we'll change that to add. So what I do is I normally do the tabs out the front, and I fold up a door that goes over the flanges that come out. So I'll quickly jump into Sheetmetal command. Now our toolbar is a bit truncated here. If you've got a larger screen, that toolbar will actually extend out. So we want to go straight into our Sheetmetal command. This is our Sheetmetal command here. So I'm going to convert this body into Sheetmetal. And over the side here, it's got a really nice flyout panel which shows our flat patterns. And you can see it split my part up into all those different faces. So I want to exclude some of the faces. The first one I want to exclude is this opening here. Faces to exclude, the opening. So now we've got the opening, and now we want to start adding some folds. Okay, we can go around and we can select these edges around the outside to bend the part up. Now if this is not quite right, we can always chop and change and see different combinations that may work to fold this part. And if we fly our Sheetmetal part, you can see it's actually putting it together as a flat pattern. And then if I add this part on, will add it on there. Now that's probably getting a little bit unwieldy to be able to fold that up, because you're not going to be able to get your your bending press into that fold. So a better option might be here to bend the two end faces around. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of all those, split it all back up, and then we'll put our bends around here. It doesn't matter which edge you actually select, it can be the inner or the outer. So now we've got this shape here, which I think, yeah, we shouldn't have too much of a problem with getting the press into those edges, as long as we don't make it too short, as long as it's sort of still around about the 500mm long to the 300mm ratio here, we should be okay. I'm going to actually create this as a separate part. I could put a join on here and a join on here. Got the three parts there, but the problem is with that, I'll close that off and show you. So the problem is that I have with doing it this way. Then when I want to add a flange to this back edge, so I like to put a joining flange on that back edge, I can't actually add a joining flange off one of these ripped faces. So therefore I have to actually create as a separate part. So what I do is I will edit this one, and then I'll actually exclude those faces. So we'll exclude that one, and exclude that one, and that one. And now we're left with just that outside sort of C shape. When this is accepted, the import part actually disappears, so you end up with just that one part. So I'll close that off, and you'll see our creation part disappears. So what I'm going to do to create these two top parts, I'm going to use my rollback bar. I'm going to slide back here, and then I'm going to use the sheet metal tool once again. And this time, rather than selecting the convert, I'm going to use the thicken. And I'm going to just select that face, and that face. Then I'm going to select the edges of the bends, and it just actually builds that part on the top of the solid. So we'll close that off, and we'll quickly do the bottom as well. Close this off, so we've actually now got our three sheet metal parts. If we roll to end, we've got all our flat pattern parts. If we fire this out, we've got this one here, we've got our top, and we've got our bottom. So we've got the basics there for our sheet metal toolbox. So that's probably enough today. We've got our box basically laid out with all the sheet metal parts formed up. We've still got a lot of work though to do to get all those little clearances and all the little corner flange details and everything worked out. So I'd like to go through that with us in the next episode. Also want to make it configurable so we can chop and change the lengths very easily, and Onshape's got an absolutely fantastic configuration feature where you can lay stuff out in tables, but you can also have tick boxes, so you don't have to have huge big long tables to turn things on and off. So we're going to set that up as well. So thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've learnt something. We want to go a lot deeper and really investigate some of the power that Onshape has in this in sheet metal, also in configurations. Look, I use Onshape. I've used it in both in professional work and also a little bit of hobby work as well, but I've done a lot of work for different customers, and I just really want to share some of the experience that I've had with Onshape and get people using it, because I just think it's a fantastic CAD package. So thank you. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be putting more videos up, and if you want help, reach out to me either through LinkedIn or Twitter, or even on the Onshape forum as well. I'm on the Onshape forum. If you go to the forum, it's a great place to get more info as well. Yeah, love to hear from you. Thanks very much for watching. See you later.